Very good afternoon to all viewers of today's webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to Parul University's webinar. We, the core members of today's team, the Dean of Faculty of Homeopathy, Dr. Purav Desai, and Principal of Jawaharlal Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, myself, Dr. Hina Rawal, Principal of Ahmedabad Homeopathic Medical College, Dr. Hitarth Mehta, Principal of Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, and Dr. B.P. Panda, Principal of Parul Institute of Homeopathy and Research, welcome you all on behalf of Parul University. We are fortunate to have a motivating leader, that is Dr. Devanshu Patel, who always motivates us for this series of webinars. We are also very thankful to our Ayush director, that is Dr. Komal ma'am, who is always there behind us to provide all the facilities needed for such series of webinars. We are fortunate to have the learned homeopaths of our nation who are readily and willingly sharing their knowledge with our students and other viewers of homeopathy and the learners of homeopathy. Today it gives me lots of pleasure and immense pleasure to warmly welcome Dr. Niturkar sir on behalf of Parul University. Sir has completed post-graduation in Materia Medica from M.L. Dhavle Memorial Homeopathic Institute and is practicing classical homeopathy since last 17 years in Latur. Sir has 14 years of teaching experience in the Department of Organon of Medicine at VK Homeopathic Medical College in Latur. Dr. Niturkar has authored 89 scientific-based research articles, case studies, and doctrinal articles in national and international reputed homeopathic journals. Sir has presented research papers at many seminars and conferences. Sir is editor of Textbook of Practice of Medicine with Homeopathic Therapeutics of B. Jain publication and has reviewed 8 homeopathic books of B. Jain publication. He is co-editor of International Journal of Advances in Health Science. Sir is a team member of National Journal of Homeopathy, the Homeopathic Heritage, Vital Informer, and Journal of Integrated Standardized Homeopathy. Sir is the recipient of award from Homeopathic Doctors Association of Maharashtra in the category of the most popular teacher from Marathwada region for the year 2017. Dr. Niturkar is resource person for the issues of disabled as a secretary of District Disability Rehabilitation Center, Latur. It's my pleasure to have a speaker with core interest in academics and research with us today. Please welcome, sir. Over to Niturkar, sir.
Thank you, madam, for a wonderful introduction. I will start my case presentation. Just a moment.
Yes, sir.
As we are aware, the title of the topic is Practical Approach to Acute and Chronic Case Taking, a learning-based module that is there. There is some internet glitch that I will fix up. Just a moment. So, case taking is an integral part of homeopathy that all of us are aware about. Yeah, I think the screen is visible to all of you. I hope that my voice is audible and the screen is visible to all of you.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
So I will continue. As the ethos of Parul Institute, I was very happy to see that Yog Karmasu Kaushalyam and my founders, Dr. M.L. Dhavle sir and Dr. L.D. Dhavle sir, they also worked on this principle of Yoga Karmasu Kaushalyam. Yoga is perfection in work. So with this ethos, I continue my presentation by dedicating it to the three masters because of whom I am in front of you. I am able to present my skills, and I bow down to all other pioneers of homeopathy who had contributed in this field. And because of their inspiration, because of their commitment, dedication, as well as the hard work that they had done, I am able to connect what they have taught. It is a small effort that I am going to make today in this presentation. So, the presentation index that we are having today, objectives are there. Then I am going to present a small acute case, one chronic case, and then I will try to integrate a take home message through this presentation, and what kind of working model and what kind of conclusion we can derive from the whole presentation that I had planned today. So the objectives, as I had already shared it, the objectives are to demonstrate the concept and implementation of standardized homeopathic practice and training of a homeopathic physician through case receiving. As I had mentioned earlier also, that case receiving or case taking or history taking is an integral part of homeopath, and the homeopathic practice is totally relied upon the manner in which we are receiving it. So how to get trained ourselves? For that, we need to understand the importance of first 6 aphorisms, and to internalize the concept of the demands of physician that are given in aphorism number 83 to 104 in homeopathic practice. So if we are interested in practicing standardized homeopathy, and if we are planning to train ourselves in case receiving, so we have to follow the guidelines that are given in Organon. So we can also side by side learn the significance of referring allied and homeopathic literature for the management of a case. So let's see how knowledge of processes influences analysis and therapeutics. As all of with noise this one,
No,
just a moment.
yes, sir.
I will reshare it.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
The PPTs are, means the slides are not changing.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, visible. Yes, sir. Visible.
Hmm. Slide number 8.
Just a moment.
7.
Huh. So this is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Objectives were visible or they were just audible?
Yeah, this is now visible. Previously, it was not visible. Now we can see that. Yes.
I will just run the earlier slides so that you can get a connection with what I was trying to convey.
Okay.
So the presentation index, as I had mentioned earlier, the objectives. Now let's see how knowledge influences processes, analysis, and therapeutics.
Now, sir, now it is again not going forward. Yog Karmashu Kaushalyam is still that slide is there.
Just a moment. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
This one?
Objectives, yes, I can see the objectives. Yes, now let's see how knowledge of process that is seen.
Influences analysis. Okay. So this is the case of a 13 years boy. He had a sudden onset of weeping and getting irritated of whoever is approaching him. He was not at all pacified, and the whole family was in shock with sudden change in behavior. And due to loud noise, we stepped out and went to their home. The observations that I had made at that time were of that boy was moaning, he was weeping and saying, "I will die soon. Please don't come near me, as I am okay, but I will die. Leave me alone." So this was the continuous thing that I was observing in him. He was pleading for not to approach him and was avoiding to talk if anyone was trying to talk with him. He was holding his mother very tightly. Now, as we are aware that observations are very crucial in homeopathic practice, and in aphorism number 5, Hahnemann has mentioned that useful to the physician in assisting him to cure are the particulars of the most exciting cause. So
sir,
I was trying to...
Sir, please excuse, the slides have not changed. It is still, let's see how knowledge of processes influences analysis and therapeutics.
This one?
After that it has not changed.
This is visible. Now I have changed the slide. So it is still not visible. Hina madam, is it visible now? Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
I think the full screen sharing is not working properly. So I will keep the slide in this way only. So at least you can see it.
No, it's okay, sir.
So we will just try to maximize the impact. Just a minute.
At least it should move, sir. Actually, when you are delivering, the slides are not moving.
Okay. I will just try last time. Otherwise, we will go with the single slide approach only. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. But right now, I am not able to see the slide itself.
No, we are able to see, but
Sir, now the 13 years boy slide can be seen.
Okay. So I will make it full screen and just let me know whether the slide is moving or not.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I have changed the slide.
No, it is
No,
not.
it has not changed and it is not yet full screen.
Okay. So is it okay now?
Now it has changed. Observation has come.
Okay. So is it readable?
Yes,
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 sir.
it is
Yes, sir.
readable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we will go in this mode only.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. No problem.
Ah. So I had inquired about anything similar that had occurred or read in newspaper or watched on television. So parents said that these days all of us were watching news of, as we are aware, about COVID-19 and Sushant Singh media coverage. So here I took the exciting cause of hearing and watching a story that made him to feel traumatized, and he went to an emotional shock, and that generated stress within him. So due to this, the prescription that I had made was of Arnica Montana 1M4 pill stat 4 times in a day for 2 days. Now, what is this teenager suffering from? Is the teenager's response is proportional to the perceived stress? So what does the physician is thinking? I had directly prescribed this remedy, and I will show what kind of thought process I had at the time of prescription when I had considered the whole case in terms of anamnesis. So this was the structure that I made at that time in my mind, that these are the things. So what is available to us? Exposure to news that is negative and frightful, that led into taking him into a virtual environment and its interpretation as reality. And the expressions that we are having are at the level of mind, which are of functional origin, functional nature, and it created acute stress in this child. As we are aware that the nature of expressions are of functional, we can understand the hypersensitivity of this guy. So susceptibility is also high in this case. And when we are trying to understand the fight, flight, and freeze concept, we are having qualified mental generals, and the totality that I built was of ailments from emotional shock, fear of sudden death, fear of approaching others, frightened easily, pleading, aversion to talk, desire to be alone. Now, if we see the condition, cognition, and affect, that is emotion, thinking, and behavior pattern that we are able to see, here it is very evident the behavior that is there is of moaning, weeping, holding mother tightly, wants to be left alone, and the thinking is of death is approaching him because of the virtual impression that this guy had, and fear of being approached. I think the slides are quite
Yes, sir.
readable as well as they are moving right now.
Yes, sir.
So I differentiated these rubrics from different different repertories, and in that the ailments from shock, emotional, mental, which I had considered. Now this is after prescription I had studied in depth, because the totality was clear at that time when I had prescribed. Now we have to justify, we have to rationalize that in what way or on what grounds I had prescribed this remedy. So for study basis, for the purpose of study, what I did was I studied the rubrics from different materia medica as well as different repertories also. So you can easily see that ailments from shock, emotional, mental is only given in Murphy repertory, and the other important qualified rubric, that is spoken to aversion to being, alone desires being, is given only in 2 repertories, that is complete and synthesis. So on that basis, I repertorized with taking these rubrics, and I found that arnica, opium, stramonium, and sulfur aconite, these are the prominent remedies that are coming up. Now what led me to think arnica at that time? When I was PG resident, there were many cases at Dhavale Institute, Palghar, where we came across such kind of emotional shocks, whether it is general OPD or whether it is orthopedic OPD or in the psychiatric OPD. We came across such kind of emotional shocks, and we had learned role of arnica in such kind of conditions, where emotional shock or ailments from emotions are there. So that clicked me to prescribe arnica instantly. So after going through the repertory, I came across this totality and the remedial group. So if you pursue mind of arnica, we can see this oversensitiveness of the disposition, extreme inclination for agreeable and disagreeable mental emotions. Now this is given by Hahnemann in Materia Medica Pura. And if you refer lectures on homeopathic Materia Medica by Kent, we can come across this very important write-up that Kent has written, that arnica patient is morose, wants to be let alone, does not want to be talked to, does not want to be approached. He does not want to be approached both because he does not wish to enter into conversation, a mental state. So the objective of these individuals is that they don't want to go into communication or conversation in any sort. So that is the thing that restricts them from approaching or from being approached by others. So this is very important finding that Kent has mentioned, and many times it is observed that we think arnica only in relation with the trauma, that is physical trauma or in accidents. But what about the emotional shock, or what about the mental trauma? We can perceive it from various Materia Medica. Very wonderful or very useful remarks are made by these pioneers in various Materia Medica. Phatak mentions that it is a traumatic remedy par excellence. Trauma in its all varieties, mental or physical, and their effects, whether they are recent or remote, are met with this remedy. So this is what we have seen in arnica from the resource books. Now the remedy response evaluation, that is follow-up consult. After 10 to 15 minutes, he stopped crying and sat calmly. Within half an hour, asked for water and had a peaceful sleep. As we didn't had any other work, so we were there only. As every homeopath is having medicines at home, same thing was with me. So arnica is easy to get in our home. So I had given, we were there only, and within half an hour, we observed that he had, he was pacified, he was calm at that time. Next day, arnica 2 doses were given as advised, and everything was normal. Physician's observation in the evening that he was playing badminton with his younger brother, and then there was no medicine prescribed. He restored to health. And now from this case, what I learned is the key to standardized homeopathic practice is problem definition. We have to define what kind of problem this guy is having. We have to define what kind of problem resolution we can give, and the manner in which interview has to be conducted. That is by asking specific questions that will lead to get some sort of clue in our case. Acute cases are very crucial in dealing, whether they are of non-emergency or emergency nature. And in these cases, cause-effect relationship gives us an idea about totality of symptoms. The definition of approach will help us to arrive at the simillimum. So in this case, knowledge of physician defines the scope of homeopathy. If I had not prescribed this instantly, or if I had no experience earlier, or if I had not read about arnica mind, so I might have missed the prescription. So the knowledge of physician is very crucial. That is again aphorism number 3, that we should have these kind of knowledge that is about medicine indications. So that will define the scope of homeopathy. So this was the first case. Now we will move towards second case. Now this is a chronic case. A 14 years boy studying in 8th standard, belonging to a poor socioeconomic status, and his skin disease had impact on the activities of daily living, education, sports, and work. From observation, the right palm had fissure, erythema, exfoliation, and tenderness. You might have, or you would have able to see this if the screen was full screen, but somehow it is not working. So now this is the status of his bilateral soles. I think it is visible to all with clarity. So
Yes, sir.
so bilateral soles had well-defined plaques with thick scales, deep fissures, tenderness was there, exfoliation and dirt was also seen. So this was the status. I arranged this in location, sensation, modalities, and concomitants columns. As I had mentioned, this was the presentation of the disease. The boy was having complaints since 2 years. Frequency was daily, intensity was moderate, but the pace was progressive. And the pain that he had was aggravation on initial walking. He had taken lots of allopathic treatment, but it was of no help. In family history, there was one significant finding that his father also had psoriasis. In patient as a person at physical level, the characteristic findings were only related to aversion to sweets, meat, thermal state chilly, and perspiration was mild, but it was not that much significant in this case. Life space, father said that he is calm by nature. This was the input that father gave. Rest of the things, like he had a good interpersonal relationship with others, he was average in studies, parents ask him for help in their work, as parents are labor, so he is also working with them, he obeys their request, and he doesn't have any hobbies because he doesn't get any free time to get into it. Occasionally demands for desired things. On vacations or holidays, he prefers to play with his friends, but he rarely gets a chance. And since the onset of disease, he is finding difficulty to do his work, study, gardening, and other social leisure activities. That is what we are able to see here. Now again, what is available to us? It is a common habit that we should go for understanding what kind of information we are having and in what way we can utilize the available information. So in that sense, the expressions are physiological. See, in first case we had mental characteristics. Now here we are having characteristic physical generals. Earlier the pathology was of mind level, though it was functional, and here we are getting data that is physiological in terms of aversions that we had, thermal status we had, and pathological in terms of the disease state. So there are only 3 characteristic physical generals in this case, and we lack qualified mental generals. And there is discrepancy between hypoactive mind and the pathology that is overactive. As we are aware that psoriasis is having overgrowth of skin due to autoimmune response. So the sector totality that is available is because of the overactive immune system. So this is what is available to us. Now the disease diagnosis and miasmatic understanding. The diagnosis that I made was of palmoplantar psoriasis. All of us will agree with this diagnosis. Disease considerations are there. And the miasmatic considerations that we had in this case were of psychosyphilitic miasm. Now, why psychosyphilitic? We can see the predominant psychotic features in this case at mind and body level. But when we are seeing lack of qualified mental symptoms, again it points out towards the psychotic features. But there is one tool, Ortega miasmatic analysis tool, that I had used in this case. So I will give the justification of psychosyphilitic miasm. So the classification of disease is chronic. Susceptibility we can find out moderate in this case. So the repetition strategy will be of infrequently, as the disease is chronic one. Now the totality. Bonninghausen's method of repertorization was considered for this case depending upon the available data. So we can see location, sensation, modalities and physical generals are there. They were arranged as per the repertorial criteria. And when we come across this repertorial sheet, we can find out that it covers sulfur, graphites, sepia, rust ox, silica, and on applying thermal filter, that is the patient is chilly, sulfur and pulsatilla were eliminated. Graphites, sepia, rust ox, these are the now closely coming up remedies which we are thinking about. And in this case, the remedy of choice was graphites in view of symptom coverage, totality, predominant location of skin, and the dominant presentation of physical symptoms. You can see this in graphites. If you see that aggravation and amelioration of pain by walking, it is 3 marks. If we see the physical generals, aversion to sweets, we can see 3 marks. Aversion to meat, the whole family is non-vegetarian and they are having lots of craving for, though they are from poor socioeconomic class, they had on an average daily meat in their home, though the quantity is less, but they have it. But in spite of that, he is not having, so it became one of the characteristic thing in this case. So it is covered by graphites. Now, apart from the sector totality, the other thing that I was thinking was of calcarea. And we are aware that graphites and calcarea are again closely coming up remedies. So I felt at mind level also graphites and calcarea are similar. So why not to give graphites based upon the totality of symptoms and the approach. Now the same case was analyzed from miasmatic point of view, and you can see that psychotic features are covered, syphilitic features are covered. Now there are no psoriasis feature is also covered, one feature. The physical generals are not covered in terms of the miasmatic analytic tool. The case is predominantly psychotic, but there are few symptoms that guides us or that conveys that it is more going towards more of a syphilitic trend. I would consider it, rather than psychosyphilitic, I would consider it tubercular, psoriatic and syphilitic manifestation. But here we are able to see the development of mind or the development of mental symptoms are not there predominantly. So more of a psychotic affection is seen in this case. So that is why psychosis was considered, and few things were of syphilis, but that was not too predominant in that way. Okay. So the first prescription was graphites 200 single dose at bedtime. Now the advice or the ancillary measures that were conveyed were in terms of to avoid contact with soap, to avoid walking barefoot, to avoid skin peeling, to maintain skin hygiene, to wear socks. Now let's see whether graphites has worked. I believe evidence-based homeopathy will definitely help us to have a scientific outlook. So let us see what happened in the first prescription. You can easily see the changes that are there, especially the right palm. Still right foot, left foot is having this deep fissures. Plantar and anterior aspect is shown. Sorry, anterior and posterior aspect is shown of right foot. So graphitis 200 was given, repeated after, again it was given weekly. So in first follow-up, this is the state. Now see in the next follow-up, there is a drastic change in the status of foot of this guy. So blackish discoloration was due to dirt, because again he belonged to a poor socioeconomic class. So the hygiene that was needed, but still he managed that. That is very good thing. So let's see in third follow-up. There is no itching, cracks are healing, no pain, fissure has gone, no exfoliation, no tenderness. Blackish discoloration was due to dirt only. So again I repeated same medicine, though there were changes, but considering the autoimmune disorder, I thought that it is better to repeat it, because the changes were, the patient was showing signs of improvement, there were no signs of aggravation, he was responding very well. So I kept on repeating it once in a week. Sorry, excuse me for that. So in the fourth follow-up, this is the status. Total duration of treatment was 3 months, 12 weeks. That is 12 doses of graphitis had made this kind of change. Now, as we are aware that autoimmune disorders are bound to recur. So what about the recurrence? Whether the disease has recurred? So for that we have to again depend on data. Now this is the second time that I am presenting this case in a webinar. Earlier I had presented the same case in NJH webinar. So before the presentation, I am habituated, because the guy is still in my communication. I asked him to send his photographs. He is on no treatment. He is not having a single prescription after that. Not even acute. He has reported for acute also. So this is the response with homeopathic medicine. Yesterday again I asked for the photograph. I had consulted in this case. The case was taken by my elder sister-in-law, Dr. Manuja. She is my elder sister-in-law. She had taken this case. I had consulted her in this case, and the patient is still in our communication. That is why whenever I present, 1 or 2 days before, I am more eager to know what kind of health status this child is having. And yesterday he had sent the photographs, and we can see clearly that he is not having any complaint related to palmoplantar psoriasis. So this is what homeopathy can do. So this is what we can define the scope of homeopathy based upon our various knowledges. So what is required for that? As we are aware that today we are having final year and intern student, so I kept simple presentation in view to understand the process that we have to follow, and it is in tune with what is given in modern medicine. For that, only thing is that we have to read literature. So what Hutchison's clinical methods is communicating or conveying, just I have tried to correlate it with our homeopathic subjects, that physicians aim at first consultation is diagnosis and understanding the nature of the patient's perception of the problem. What kind of perception patient is having? Because he will have or she will have a different kind of perception related to disease, whether the disease is curable, whether it is incurable, whether the disease transfers into some sort of complications, etc., etc. So we have to identify, we have to understand the nature of that perception. What is required for that? The requirement is having a thorough grasp of HMM, repertory. We have to learn what is given in the practical part of organon, that is 1 to 70. Sorry, in theoretical part 1 to 70, and in practical part that is 71 to 291. So that we can establish clinical features. That is, we can have a clinical database through case taking. Again, we require knowledge of disease, knowledge of pattern of disease presentation. We need the ability to interpret patient's clinical database in terms of symptoms and signs, disorder functions, and potential causative pathologies. We need to have this clinical database, interpretation of this clinical database in terms of symptoms, signs, what kind of disorder it has produced, what kind of potential causative pathologies are there, whether they belong to mental, physical, social, or a combination of all these things. So the box that you are able to see, it is from Hutchison. The diagnosis content, understanding nature of patient's perception, then the establishing clinical features, that part. So it is relevant to our homeopathy. It is relevant to what Hahnemann and other solvers have communicated or they have written. It is only that we are missing that thread to correlate. We are missing that thread to integrate what is given in allied books and in homeopathic books. So, as per Hahnemann's guidelines for individualizing examination of a case of disease, it demands on physician certain attitude and skills. We are aware that freedom from prejudice, sound senses, attention in observation, fidelity in tracing the picture, what he sees, hears, writes, and keeps silent. The skills that we need are of circumspection, tact, knowledge of human nature, patience, caution. Treat each instance as a new instance. So the demands, as it has been given in philosophy books by Stuart Close, Roberts, and Kent, that the physician should be sympathetic, friendly with patient, he should be a good listener, he should be at absolute poise, rest, he should be well versed with the art of cross-examination, knowledge and value of expressions, knowledge of nature of sickness, that is natural disease and artificial drug disease. Now this knowledge and value of expressions we can identify in case number 1 as well as in case number 2. Graphitis, prescribing graphitis in second case was not a big deal. Either calcarea carb or graphitis or sulfur, these were the closely coming up remedies. But what thought process we are having when we are prescribing a remedy, that needs to be understood. What kind of totality, what kind of demands are there for prescribing a remedy? As a learner, as a homeopathic learner, it is our duty to refer all authentic resources so that we can enrich ourselves, we can enrich our knowledge database, and we can share our experiences through various platforms, whether both these cases have been published in National Journal of Homeopathy in their earlier issues. So Vishpala madam had commented on both the cases that these two cases are very good in terms of how we analyze the case. The manner in which anamnesis has to be done is very well projected in both the cases, as well as the combined repertory approach, referring a particular rubric so that we can select a proper remedy. So that was also very well appreciated by the NGH team. So homeopathic education should focus upon health and how to maintain it, disease, its causation, what are the tools, methods of cure, and the knowledges about disease, medicinal powers, choice of medicine, administration of medicine, preservation of health. So all these things needs to be learned. So the training of the physician, that is from 5th to 6th aphorism, what to look for and how to look for it. This is what our teachers taught, that what to look for: fundamental cause, exciting cause, anamnesis, and the constitution, physical, moral, intellectual, social, personal, that is given in 5th aphorism. And how to look for it? By becoming an unprejudiced observer. And I repeatedly say in my classroom that when we are going towards becoming unprejudiced observer, the person, the physician, the learner should start observing himself first. Then only he can observe what is normal, what is abnormal in the patient. So we should be an unprejudiced observer. We should learn the morbid phenomena. We should trace this morbid phenomena. We should gather information from the patient and the attendants, and we should be able to portray or paint the portrait of the disease. That is for the sake of individualization of disease. I think all of you are with me. So this working model, upon which the whole 2 cases were based, they were totally based upon observations. The process of learning. Observations are what? They are the process of learning. Observations are given in Materia Medica as facts. Observations talk about the experience of standardized homeopathic practice. And the last thing, observations and its correlations with clinicopathologic concepts, psychopathologic concepts. In second case, we had seen clinicopathologic concept. In first case, the psychopathologic concept. So all these things are essential for continuous learning, so that we can extend our knowledge levels. So for the sake of tri-coordinate care, that is knowledge care, patient care, and learner care. This is very well explained in Dhawale sir's symposium volume part 1. All the 3 parts are very good in terms of literature, and its practical applicability is also very good. We can move towards standardized homeopathic practice by referring such novel work done by our masters. And if you have any questions, please feel free to communicate. This is my contact details. These are my contact details. And at last, I would just focus upon what Hahnemann has mentioned. Homeopathy thus is a very simple form of medical practice, as it is consistent in its principles and methods. Like the theory on which it is based, it may be seen to be complete in itself and therefore effective on its own. See how beautifully he has mentioned. Integrity in theory and practice should be a matter of course, with no return whatsoever to wrong ways if pride is to be taken in the reputable name of homeopathy. So with due respect to Samuel Hahnemann and his writings, I acknowledge all of you for giving me the opportunity to present in front of you whatever small experience I had gathered in this homeopathic field. I was able to gather it due to the training that I had, education that I had in my postgraduate alma mater institute, that is Dr. M.L. Dhawale's Homeopathic Institute. They had a vision, they gave me a vision, and because of which I am again in front of you. My family, and special thanks to Dr. Hitat Mehta sir and Dr. Mushali Saraswat for giving me this opportunity. My UG college from where I had undergraduated, and the current college where I am working as in the field in the department of organon, that is VK Homeopathic Medical College, Latur. This is a teamwork. Because of all of you, this was possible, and this will be possible in future too. If you have any questions, 10 minutes are there. I think I am within time.
Yes, sir.
So if you have any questions, please put it up so that I will stop this sharing right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for a brilliant and comprehensive presentation. And now I would like to invite Dr. Hitat Mehta, sir, who is the principal of Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, as well as the member of Board of Studies of Parul University, to give the concluding remarks on today's webinar. Please, Hitat, sir.
Regarding the today's webinar, Dr. Yogesh sir, the selection of the topic is too good for the upcoming homeopaths regarding the practical approach to acute and chronic case taking, acute based learning. Sir was started with the quote of the Yog Karmasu Kausalam. So it was a wonderful presentation. Starting of the presentation, the religiousness which has been created in the scenario of the Parul University right now, and the objective index, acute case, chronic case, and take home message which has been nicely differentiated, right? Starting from the objective index, the training to homeopaths, that is very essential for taking our science in a new heights. Manner in which we receiving the case, which is very important, how we proceed, and the knowledge of the organon, that is aphorism number 83 to 104, in order to prescribe, and we have to strictly follow the guidelines given by the masters and the subject of organon. And sir was presented the case. In first case, the boy of the 13 years boy, having the observational concept, that is the leave me alone, avoiding to talk, and hold the mother very tightly indeed. So the nicely correlation of the aphorism number 5, and hearing and watching story, and history of mental traumatism. On that ground, the expression which was noted, mental characteristic and totality was formed, ailments from emotional shock, then fear of sudden death, frightened easily, that is the connection and cognition effect, which has been nicely correlated, and meant on the basis of the mental traumatism, the arnica was given. So emotional shock on the basis of differentiated on different repertory, that is very extremely appreciate, sir, with the different repertory, and same medicine has been compiled in that particular totality. And so it is the first case was the cause effect relationship with the context of the knowledge of the physician, which defined the scope of homeopathy. In that second case, 14 years boy studying in 8th standard, and patient is having right palm and as well as this on the soles, the psoriatic patch which was noted, and the father is having same history. The patient is chilly, aversion to sweet, calm by nature, good interpersonal relationship, expression level, that is the physiological, then pathological, sector totality on dispositional, the miasm, that is psychosyphilitic miasm, was diagnosed, and repertorial totality, that is sulfur, graphitis, sepia, and rustox. So nicely correlated on the basis of the totality, the graphitis was prescribing, and evidence-based totality definitely help us for scientific prescription. So and follow the palmoplantar psoriasis, which is completely cured. So congratulations, sir, for a wonderful case presentation. So it is a understanding of the knowledge of organon, materia medica, and repertory. How will you perceive, and how will you correlate the knowledge of the text to the clinical practice in next level? That is very essential. So I am thankful to sir. And what kind of the demands? The aphorism number 5, that is the fundamental cause, exciting cause, amnesis, and constitutional adaptability. And aphorism number 6, that is unprejudiced observation, morbid phenomena, compile information from the patient and relatives. That is very essential. So knowledge care, patient care, and learner care for the integrity of practice. Thank you very much, sir. Over to Dr. Ina, madam.
Thank you, Hidat, sir, for an extensive and critical observation as well as conclusion of the brilliant webinar. Now I would request Dr. Panda, sir, the principal of Parul Institute of Homeopathy and Research and the member of Board of Studies of Parul University, to please propose the vote of thanks. Panda, sir.
Thank you, Hina madam. It's my privilege and I feel proud to have been asked to propose vote of thanks to this occasion. I, on behalf of Faculty of Homeopathy, Parul University, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Speaker Dr. Yogesh D. Niturkar sir for gracing the occasion and sharing with us her vast experience in the topic Practical Approach to Acute and Chronic Case Taking, a case-based learning module. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Yogesh D. Niturkar sir for his brief and precise explanation in the topic with correlation of organon of medicine and ethical homeopathic practice. He has precisely mentioned which aphorism need to be used to practice in which type of case. That was very interesting. Further, we are grateful to Niturkar sir for presenting nice cases which are most important for our fraternity. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Niturkar sir for giving an excellent coverage in this respect. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to President of Parul University, Dr. Devanshu Patel sir, Director Dr. Komal Madam for their motivation and encouragement to conduct such webinar series for our stakeholders. It requires teamwork with dedication. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues. I extend my gratitude to the Dean of the Homeopathic Faculty, Principal, JNHMC, Jawaharlal Nehru Homeopathy Medical College, Dr. Purab Desai sir. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Hina Rawal, Chairman, Board of Study, Parul University, and Principal, Ahmedabad Homeopathy Medical College, for welcoming of our guest speaker with the introduction, and Dr. Hitarth Mehta sir, Principal, Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, for his excellent concluding remarks and making this webinar successful. I am extending my gratitude to Mr. Brijesh Acharya sir, OST, and Mr. Jitu for the perfect logistic support and guidance he has extended to all of us. Last but not the least, I am very much thankful to all the viewers, my students, my colleagues, those who have attended this webinar. As this webinar is very useful to our fraternity, I again expect same type of cooperation from our respected speaker in future. Thank you very much. Over to Hina Madam.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we can conclude today's webinar, so we can stop our presentations. Thank you so much.
You, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for providing me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, it's our pleasure. Our pleasure.
It is great honor for me to be associated with you in this way, and in future also I will always look forward for any sort of opportunity to learn and share. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, sir. Our pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar.